Hunters the Reckoning is a game set within the world of darkness. Now, it's unique in its setting because, as a character, you are not special. And what I mean by that is you are not a vampire. You do not have the shape-shifting capabilities of the werewolves. You cannot bend reality like the mages. You are just an average nobody who saw something they shouldn't have and decided to do something about it. What up, fam? It's your boy Ghost Hunter 69 here. Nice. So I think I just caught something. Oh, it's so exciting. I don't even know what it is that I saw. I was walking home from work and I passed by this alley. I pass it by all the time. And I normally wouldn't even have paid attention or looked in, but I don't know. There was this whisper. I don't even really know what it said, but it kind of sounded a bit like turn and face the truth. So, okay. So I don't know what's going on. So when I turn down the alley, there's this really tall guy who's getting pretty handsy with somebody else down there. Mom, I'm recording here. Moms, right? So this guy is clearly not enjoying it, but I don't know. This is where it gets weird. So the tall guy that's bent over him, look, if that's your thing, maybe don't do it in public. Anyways, he turns around, but he looks at me, like he really looks at me. And it looked like his eyes were red. And there's these huge teeth. His canines were they were massive. If I didn't know any better, it was like some real Twilight bullshit. Anyways, I just wanted to let you know what I saw. I came back to get my trusty camera. We're going to go out. I got my gun. I'll see if I can figure out what this was. Catch you later, fam. Ghost Hunter 69, nice. Signing out. Hunters, also sometimes called the imbued, they are just regular people. They have the ability to see the supernatural. They can see things that other people can't. They are awakened to the supernatural monsters. This usually happens through trauma or a specific crises that they face, and it happens when they receive contact from the messengers. Messengers, or heralds, are mysterious entities. Nobody knows how they do what they do or why, but they always imbue humans with the ability to fight supernatural monsters. Now, most hunters, they believe that there are either 3 messengers or 3 groups of messengers, and they are based around the 3 virtues, which I will talk about in a minute. Most hunters, or most of the imbued, they feel compelled to do something about the monsters in their area. They've learned that the nightmares control the world around them and they won't stand for it. The problem that they face is because they are going against supernatural creatures, monsters that go bump in the night, and hunters are just regular people. So this makes them quite squishy. Now, when the veil to the secret world and the things that go bump in the night is pulled back, that tends to make people quite a bit paranoid. Many have a hard time coping with what they see. And this is compounded with the fact that the messengers deliver voices in your head that only you can hear through these whispers. And very few hunters have the ability to make others see what they can. And once you know what's out there, you can never go back. Even if a hunter who has seen beyond the veil decides not to do something about it, that will always stick with them in the back of their minds. Most are compelled to deal with the threat that they have experienced or that they have seen. Some do not. And those who fail to heed the call, they are called bystanders. For most hunters, they receive their message or their calling, the whisper. It can happen anytime during their regular mundane life. Coming home from school, driving home from work, sitting on the bus, witnessing a crime taking place. But for most hunters, that is when the heralds will whisper their message into the ear of the potential hunter. It's usually just a short phrase, a sentence, sometimes it's writing. Call it a vision, if you will. But this phrase This sentence, whatever it is they saw, it wakes them up to what's happening around them. And when the supernatural is now visible, sometimes that coworker who you thought was a little awkward, but you talked to them anyways just to be nice at the water cooler, well, it turns out they're a zombie. Maybe that mugger you saw in the alley, they have a huge distended jaw and large teeth, kind of resembling that of a vampire. This is the true reality. And not all hunters are created equal either. Only those hunters with the strongest conviction can actually see through the veil, see through the illusion. If you wanted to get a good feel for what playing Hunter the Reckoning is like, go watch the show Supernatural. Supernatural also did get its own tabletop spin-off in 2009, although I don't think it was as successful or implemented as well as it could be when you're comparing it to World of Darkness. I've never played it, that's just an assumption that I'm making. If you have played it, let me know about it in the comments below. Since you're going to be down in the comment section telling me about the Supernatural game, you can also hit the like button and don't forget to hit subscribe with the bell notification to get more videos like this from myself. Now, as I mentioned, hunters are just regular people. Werewolves can take and deal aggravated damage. Vampires can take and deal aggravated damage. Hunters are squishy human flesh piles and they cannot take aggravated damage or they will explode. Instead, they have something that allows them to resist many of the supernatural abilities of the supernatural, and these are done through conviction and edges. For a hunter, conviction is how much strength you possess, that deep well within you, something you can draw from. It could be physical strength, it could also be a faith strength, and this allows the hunters to pierce the illusions. And your conviction can change day by day. And an unfortunate side effect for hunters, the more conviction you have, the stronger of faith you are, the crazier you get, eventually reaching a point where the most powerful hunters are kind of insane if you were to listen to them speak. Unfortunately, every hunter will lose their mind at some point if they don't lose their life first. And for people on my Discord server like Glyph, this is their draw to the game, that slow descent into madness. Now, edges are different entirely. These are supernatural abilities given to hunters, but they are minor supernatural abilities, and they are almost always granted by the messengers. Edges are what give hunters their defense against the supernatural and their own very powerful abilities. Most hunters will only ever learn a few edges in their lifetime, but the more powerful the hunter, the more edges they can possess. These hunters will also be extremely committed to their causes or to their virtues. And these virtues, they define how the hunters set about their task. It's how they like to hunt. It becomes their creed. It becomes part of who they are and how they operate. When it comes to hunters, there are 9 creeds in total. Mercy is the virtue of forgiveness. Merciful hunters tend to want to redeem, forgive the monsters. They didn't choose to be this way. They will focus mainly on those who they can save, and within mercy there are 3 creeds: the innocent, martyr, and the redeemer. All of these virtues have edges, but very rarely will any of these edges be for physical harm. Zeal would be the exact opposite of what I've just described. Those who have a creed of zeal, they believe in justice. They have seen or they have experienced wrongs and they must be righted by force. They will be primarily focused on the destruction of evil. There is no redemption for the wicked. Creeds under the zealous virtue, they are avengers, defenders, and judges. Their edges will usually affect or control supernatural creatures in some way. The last virtue is vision, and this one is not very well understood by anyone, even those who follow in it. Visionaries are the rarest of all the creeds. They do see a time, or they believe they will see a time, when the hunt will come to an end. All the supernatural beings, the creatures, they will have been extinguished from society. Visionaries see the big picture, they get it, they are planners, and they act to change the way the hunt works. Their edges are specifically around helping other hunters see their vision. Under the virtue of vision, there are two other creeds beyond Visionaries, Hermits and Waywards. Although these hunters who have this particular creed are quite often believed to have been broken by the messengers. They are failed hunters in the eyes of basically all the other hunters. Unlike many of the other games in the World of Darkness setting, you are just the average person thrown into a world of horrible monsters, trying to cope with the nightmares that you now experience and the slow descent into madness that it takes to deal with all of those monsters. I will be creating and updating a playlist for you around Hunter the Reckoning, so stay tuned for more videos around that. But for now, if you want to learn more about the other things that go bump in the night, I have a vampire playlist for you as well as a werewolf playlist. Thank you to all of my patrons who continue to support me. The support has been absolutely phenomenal, especially now that we've crossed 4,000 subscribers on the channel. If you want to support me, you can do so through Patreon or by visiting the Maple Table merch store. Link is in the description. My name's Nathaniel. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.